So we have this these panels here. We have this lower panel, which is our output window, which you're used to seeing pop up from time to time. And now we have this right panel. Now the right panel is our like inspector panel. So this has things like the identity information and what we are and who we are. Then we have a help, which obviously there's never any help because we're doing Apple development. Just kidding. So we have our class. So this as a whole is our NS window class. So that's what this is. So we could in turn say like, no, this is an NS color panel class and like really jack the thing up. So we're just going to leave it as a NS window because that's actually what we want it to be. And then you can see we have the title, attributes, if it can be minimized, if it's textured, if it's blah, 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 blah. And you can, kind of move your way through here and see if you want to adjust the size, you can do this through the GUI as well. Just by dragging it around, you see these. You can constrain the minimum size, the maximum size, like what position on the screen is it going to initialize on. So you have a lot of different options there, just like you would in a lot of graphical user interface development tools. And these are our outlets and actions. Now we briefly touched on the idea of these outlets and actions, and that's what's going to tie everything together. So let's put a couple objects on the window, and we'll tie an outlet to one and an action to another. So maybe like a button, when you click the button, it fills out a text field. Something like that. Okay, so let's do a push button. We could do a rounded rect button. Let's do a rounded rect button. And we'll use these like center guidelines to kind of center it so it's, all pretty. And we'll double click on this and say click for action. Why not? All right, and then we'll have a text box. So this object library here down below, you can do different filters and constraints. We're going to do it for the object library. And this has rectangles and buttons and triangles and you name it. Labels, text fields, so we can put a label on here. Say Wibbit.net. Why not? So we got our label here, and now let's add like a text field underneath the label. And the text field, we won't have like an initial default value or anything. We'll just kind of make a text field. And so what we'll want to do is we'll click a button and fill out the text field. Right? Okay. Sounds good?
Sounds great.
Okay, so we'll hide this little editor here for the moment, and we'll click on this penguin suit, a little tuxedo. So what the tuxedo does is it brings in a view of the application delegate declarations, the app delegate header file that's associated, that's the file owner of this main menu. So you can see like this NS window, like that is this window, this NS window object. So this is the, you can't really say the calling class, but it's the associated delegate class to this window. So
right, because this is ran, and then your code kind of works with like the instantiated values that were created when the GUI came up.
Right.
Which is very different than a lot of other graphical concepts out there.
So we talked about outlets and actions. So an outlet, if you remember, is a reference point for the code to refer to the instance of an object or view in your view, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if we right-click and drag on the text field, we right-click and drag right into the code, and you see how it's like it's trying to automatically stick something. You want to insert the outlet like privately in here? Do you want to insert it here? Do you want to connect the binding so that the outlet is bound to the... Should have held it for too long. Let's go back. So it says, do you want to connect it to this outlet so that this is also connected? Like, do you want to do crazy stuff? So what we're going to do is we're going to right-click and drag into our code, into where we would declare, like methods and stuff. And we're going to declare an outlet. So this drop-down, we can either declare an outlet or an action. And so we want to make a reference point that points back to the instance of this text field when it's launched. And so we'll call this our just text field.
Okay.
And the type is going to be an NS text field object because that's what it is. That's what we want to declare it as. So we're going to hit connect. And that now has connected our interface to our header class and declared it. But not only that, it will also, if we go to our implementation file, we'll switch to our central view and go to our implementation file. You also see that it automatically synthesizes the things that we connect the outlet for too.